Have you ever sat with a client or maybe even with yourself and thought, we know exactly what the problem is. We've talked about it 100 times, so why isn't anything changing? That question kept me up at night for years. And when I finally found the answer, it changed everything about how I work. Today I want to share it with you. There was a woman called Virginia Satir, known as a mother of family therapy, who said something in the 1960s that I think is one of the most important insights in the entire field of psychology. She said, what you see in a person, their behavior, their words, their reactions, is just the tip of the iceberg. Below the surface is the entire world. There are feelings about those feelings, the shame, the fear, the guilt we have about what we feel. Deeper still, the beliefs we formed about ourselves, the expectations we carry from our families, our childhoods, our earliest relationships. And at the very bottom, the deepest level, self-worth. Not self-esteem, self-worth. Self-esteem changes. It goes up when we succeed, down when we fail. But self-worth is something entirely different. It's the core belief about whether you're fundamentally enough. As Satir said, until you work at that level, you're only ever managing the surface. Now, most therapeutic and coaching approaches, and I say this with deep respect for all of them, work at the level of behavior and thought. Change the thought, change the feeling. Set the goal, build the habit. Identify the pattern, interrupt it. And those things work to a point. But I kept meeting people who had done all of that. They'd been in therapy. They'd done the coaching. They could articulate exactly what was happening, and still they kept ending up in the same place. The same relationship dynamic, the same pattern under stress, the same inner voice saying, you're not enough. Because the work had never gone deep enough. That's the gap Satir's model fills. And it's the gap this book has written to address. Here's something Satir observed that I find endlessly fascinating. When we feel threatened, when our self-worth is under pressure, we each have a default coping strategy. She called them survival stances. There are 4 according to Satir. We added others later. Some of us blame. We point outward. It becomes someone else's fault. The anger protects us from the vulnerability underneath. Some of us placate. We make ourselves small. We agree. We apologize. We keep the peace, even at the cost of our own truth. Some of us become super reasonable. We go intellectual. We analyze. We explain. We stay in our heads. Because as long as we are thinking, we don't have to feel. And some of us become irrelevant. We distract. We joke. We change the subject. We disappear from the conversation entirely. Which one do you recognize in yourself? Most of us have a primary one, and we developed it as children because in the family system we grew up in, it was the strategy that kept us safe. These stances are not pathology, they are intelligence. They are your nervous system doing the best it could with what it had. Satir didn't pathologize this, she honored them. And then she helped people move beyond them toward what she called congruence. Congruence is a state where you think, what you feel, and what you express are all aligned. It sounds simple, but for most of us, most of the time, they're not aligned. We say we're fine when we're not. We act confident when we're terrified. We give advice, we don't follow ourselves. Congruence is the goal of the work, and getting there requires going through change. Satir mapped the change process in 7 stages, and the stage I find most important and most misunderstood is stage 4, chaos. When something disrupts the old system, a new insight, a loss, a relationship crisis, things get worse before they get better. That is not failure. That is the necessary precursor to transformation. Most people quit at stage 4. They interpret the discomfort as evidence that change isn't working. Satir said, "This is exactly where the work is happening. Stay with it." This is what my book is about. The art of transformation in therapy and coaching. Mastering Satir Tools is a comprehensive, practical guide to Virginia Satir's model written for therapists, coaches, and anyone who works with people on a deeper level. It covers the full Satir growth model, the iceberg in depth, congruence, all the survival stances, the change process, and so much more. It also gives space to integration with other models of therapy and coaching, and I really invite you to explore it. And the link is somewhere there where you can find your way to Amazon. See you on the other side.